Hi everyone, this is Erica Burnett here again, another week, and I've been doing this for like 3 weeks in a row, and I'm shocked at myself about me being able to do videos, so often, but I'm glad I'm in here. And I just want to stop by and share with you another card that I want to make, one that you can give to a significant other, for a romantic occasion. And I know it's too early for Valentine's Day, but hey, you can do this for Valentine's Day if you remember, the card that I make, and you can always stop back past my YouTube channel to check it out. So this is just a card, a romantic card, and I'm going to use the sentiment called life is meant to be shared. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to start off with white piece of cardstock here, and it's already pre-scored, and I'm going to place down my little polka dots here. And this is a really easy card to make. So that's a gray and white polka dot scrapbook paper that I've had for quite some time. So I'm going to put that down. Start with that. And I always do a strip across the center just to kind of secure it. So put that there in the center. Move it over a little bit so it's centered so you can see it. Place this down here and just leave like a slight little border. There you go. And I'm going to put that to the side for now. And then I have a strip here, and you may not be able to see it well, but this is a piece of black cardstock and a piece of like teal color cardstock. And I'm going to layer the teal on top of the black strip. And I'm going to use glue. And this glue is by Gina K Designs, called Connect. It's really great for gluing down paper. It's wonderful. And you can get this from Simon Says Stamp online. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take this and I'm going to put some glue on here. Glue it down. And you only need a little bit with this glue. This glue adheres really well, so you don't need a lot. Turn that over. And a little bit. There you go. I'll do that. So now I'm going to pick up the strip. And I'm going to place that down. Oops. Try not to slide it over. Of course, you don't always make it perfectly, but there you go. And I'm going to set that time. I'm going to set this aside to give it time to dry. Get a little bit of that excess glue off. Give it time to dry on the side. Push that to the side. Okay. So now I'm going to take and stamp this little heart by Stampin' Up, which is it's a very old stamp. I don't even think they make it anymore. And that's something about me. I use a lot of stamps that have already been what do you call it? They don't make them anymore. I know it's a word, but I'm having a brain fart right now. And I can't remember. Discontinued. There you go. So a lot of the stamps I have are old and they've been discontinued by the companies, but I just could not let go of them, so I still use them. So I'm going to stamp this on the back of this teal colored cardstock with some black ink and Memento ink. And actually sometimes this works better. Wet it really good as much as possible. Stamp it down. Press as much as I can. And there you go. And I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to keep it straight so you can see it. So now I'm going to cut it out with a die cut, heart-shaped die cut. So I'm going to use that. So let me get my die cutting machine. A Big Shot that I got at Stampin' Up! Company some years ago. So I'm going to put that here in the center so you can see how I place it down. And this is actually a magnetic platform, so all of the dies that are made of metal, you know, are magnified so they stay in place, so you don't have to worry about them moving. So I'm going to do that. Place this. Try to get it as centered as possible. Doesn't have to be perfect, but enough, you know, enough for my taste. And put my plate over top of that and run it through. Hold it down so it doesn't move. There you go. And that's how it looks. So I'm going to place that down. I'm going to put that to the side. Get this out of the way. And I'm going to take and place this heart on this polka dot paper. So I'm going to put that like right here. But I'm going to pop it up like I do everything else. So I'm going to get some dots. These are called dimensionals. They make things pop up a little bit. So I don't think I need many for this. So I'm going to put them here and here, and of course here, because I don't want any part of this to sink in. I also have some smaller ones, some ones that are small. They have them. Also, I got these from Stampin' Up. They have the large ones and they have the small ones. So when you have small pieces that you want to raise up or want to place in certain positions on the backs of, you know, whatever die cut you're going to put on your card, then this gives you a nice little option, you know, to kind of fill those spaces in. Because sometimes I like to fit, you know, fill in as many spaces as possible. I don't like, because sometimes the card stock over time will sink in. Like if you mail it or something like that to someone, it'll sink in. I don't want that to happen. So I tend to put, you know, a lot on the back just to kind of secure it a little bit. That's just me. You don't have to do that, but that's just me. So I'm going to pull these off. And they come off pretty easily. So I throw it. Okay. I think that's it. I think I got all of them. I'm just testing. Oh, one more. Was testing it a little bit to see. All right, so now I can take and place that on the card, and I'm centering it as much as possible. As much as possible. And I think that's good for me right there. Okay, so now after that, I'm going to go ahead and use my little sentiment, and I'm going to stamp it in black. Life is meant to be shared, and I'm going to do it along the side. So I'm going to flip this over and put this in the center. And I'm going to stamp my little stamp on the stamp pad here, making sure it's covered. and praying that there's enough ink on here, because sometimes some rubber is very different from other rubber depending on the company and what rubber they use. Sometimes the ink adheres to it the first time or the second time, and sometimes it doesn't. It depends. So I'm going to place the stamp on here as even as I can, so as best I can. And pray that I did it right. That's all I can do. Help a sister out. Now you see how that is? That's light and sort of the stamp didn't cover it overall. So what I do is when that happens, when you don't get the impression that you would like to get, I have a black marker with a fine point, and I'll show you what that is. It's a Sharpie pen it's a fine Sharpie pen, and I use that to kind of fill it in. So I'm just going to take it, I'm going to fill it in, the parts that didn't cover well, and just go over the lines, not necessarily in detail, but you know, just to cover it up, the spots that were missed, to make it a little bit more streamlined here. Everything seems to look okay. There's only like a few spots that needed to be filled in. And I may end up doing all of it because it's such a big difference in the marker and in the actual stamp. So I'm going to cover the entire stamp, the image that I stamped, or the sentiment that I stamped. I'm going to cover it, and I hope my head is not in the way. I hope you don't see an afro, part of an afro, in the way. And that seems to look good. Alright, so I'm going to go and finish. And there you go, all done. So now that part is done. So just to show you up close what that looks like, it looks a lot better. All right, so now I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to place the strip down here that I put together earlier, the teal. I'm going to put that down. So I'm going to put some tape on the back of that. All the way to the end. And I'm going to place it down, making sure it's covered. Okay. There you go. And I'm going to put in I have some rhinestones. I have black rhinestones that I actually got from Amazon that I'm going to use. And I'm going to pick them up, and I'm going to use a tool called Crystal Cantana. And it has a nice rubbery tip where you can take and pick. You have also a metal tip where you can kind of move the rhinestones, and you can pick them up with a rubber tip so you can place them down. So I'm going to do that beside. I was going to do it here, and I may still do it here. No. I'm going to do one here and one here. So I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to do two of the bigger ones, which decided they wanted to pop off on me. And I'm going to place one so you can see one here. And I'm going to do one here, and I'm making sure, okay, that's kind of even keeled a little bit. Yeah, that's even keeled, making sure that's nice and even. Press it down, and believe it or not, I am done. That is actually the end of the card. Fold this up. And that is it. That's my romantic card that I made for you guys, and I truly appreciate you hanging in with me. I hope you liked it. It's quick and easy. Anyone can do this using any of the tools out of any art, any arts and crafts store. So if you have any questions, please definitely feel free to drop a note on my social media or send me an email at info@asinglesuggestion.com. This will go on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram as well. I hope you enjoy the video. See you soon. Bye-bye.